Hello and welcome to Inside Intercom. I'm Liam Geraghty. For Pride 2022, Intercom is celebrating with the theme Out in the World and Bringing People In. It's all about sharing the lived experiences of those who are out while equipping allies with the knowledge to enable them to support their peers in the LGBTQI+ community. With that in mind, on today's show, 5 intercomrades sat down to share with us their thoughts.
So my name is Jessica. I work in the Dublin office and I work in the billing team. I'm a billing ops specialist. Yeah, I work with the customers, what they paid, what they didn't pay and everything. So for me, this is really important because I came from a family that wasn't supportive and accepting of me when I came out in these last long years. So everybody that was supporting me and being an ally was extremely important to me. So without the allies I had through my life, I don't know how I would cope with that. So it's really important.
Yeah, so I'm Shauna. I'm based out of Dublin and I'm on the customer support team. As a gay woman, allyship to me is knowing that people kind of have your back in that sense. Because obviously being part of the LGBTQ community, I personally haven't had to deal with any sort of major backlash, thankfully. But I know there are people out there who do. So it's nice to know that there are people out there who have your back, who kind of love you and support you no matter what. They don't even see that part of you sort of thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, my name is Ryan Parker, and I'm a senior support specialist here at Intercom. The story for a lot of folks, I think, but my mom, day one, I knew she was in my corner. I asked for a Snow White birthday cake for my 3rd birthday. She got me a Snow White birthday cake for my 3rd birthday. Didn't say anything of it. Wanted to dress up in a dress and high heels and pretend I was Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. She didn't think anything of it. And if anyone said anything, she shut them down right away. So my mom, first ally, and to this day, still my biggest ally, my best friend.
I'm Jen from the IT team. I started 8 weeks ago here, so I'm pretty new. I feel like a lot of people in the LGBTQ+ community have similar experiences walking around town, holding hands, or any public displays of affection. At some point, I think we all have noticed people maybe saying something or giving you that look. And again, it's when people like allies stand up for you in the moments that matter.
Those moments are so important because being an ally is being willing to act and not just be sympathetic. So what can you do to be a more effective ally? Our guests had this to say.
Being curious in the sense of to learning rather than being nosy, if that makes sense. If you're out and you're I know, for example, if you're out drinking and you're in a smoking area and you bump across a wide variety of people, especially because I go into the George and stuff like that, you're going to meet loads of different people. Just ask questions. I know a lot of people would rather you just respectfully ask them, for example, pronouns, things like that. Because I know a lot of my friends would be confused around transgender sort of thing. So I'd happily be yeah, I'll sit down and have a chat with you and stuff like that. Especially one of my friends who works a lot with younger generation sort of thing. And she wouldn't be as savvy in terms of knowledge around the LGBTQ. So she'd often text me being listen, I had the situation, not quite sure. And I'd be listen, this is exactly what A, B, C, do you know what I mean? So definitely being curious to learn, but also being respectful in that sense. Not kind of coming across that you're being nosy or anything like that.
I think a lot of times it might be difficult for people. They don't understand. There's still things in the community that I don't fully understand. There's a lot of things that I'm learning every day as we shift and grow and more people come out into the forefront and, you get to see more and more of what this community looks like. Here in America, you go to any graduation and someone is bound to quote Dr. Seuss. And whenever they do that, everyone kind of rolls their eyes. So this might be an eye roll moment for some of the people listening. But I'm going to quote Dr. Seuss here because I think it's very appropriate. Be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. And when I look back at all the allies I've experienced throughout my entire life and the people I have in my life now, I always know that they don't mind. And if you can be that person to the people in your life who are different to you, then I think you got it. I think you're on the right track there.
I think every little helps. I think you can be an incredible ally if you have friends that are not like really in this mindset and they start talking something around you and you can stand and say, look, this is not all right. The comment you are making is not like, okay. So they can educate other people around them, like, and make these people understand the situation better. I think this was something that I really relied on my allies when everything started for me, because my parents were completely against. So if they had someone that could turn around to them and say, look, what you're saying is not okay, this would probably change their mindsets a little bit. So I think if you turn around and say, I am an ally, but you're in a table where people are making comments that are not okay and you don't stand by and don't say anything, you are definitely not an ally.
Thinking about myself and being an ally for other communities or minorities, or my main thing is getting involved a bit more or being more knowledgeable about things. So even if it's looking into things more, reading up about things that are happening, like maybe challenges, because you obviously don't have the same experiences as people in other communities. So listening to their stories and their voices helps give you a perspective on that. And again, even going to events and fundraisers and things like that helps as well. That's kind of some things that I would myself do. But it comes down as well to small things, like when you're in a situation and maybe somebody says something that it doesn't sit right and you're afraid, or not afraid, but just uncomfortable about maybe calling that out. If you have an ally there that's willing to call things out as well, that's a big help in all kinds of situations like work, school, when you're out and about. It's not just you that's part of the community that's like, no, that didn't sit right with me. If other people start to do it too, like allies, I think that's a big help as well.
My name is Castro. I'm a People Operations Associate here at Intercom, and I'm also an ERG leader for our Latino community at Intercom, as well as an ally to our LGBTQ+ community. I was born and raised in Chicago. I have 2 dogs, and I love coffee. So to me, Liam, allyship means like being willing to take risks in order to support someone or a group of people. I really see allyship as being receptive to new ideas and learning to understand and appreciate either the person or the group that you're trying to learn from. When I was in grade school and I was learning about civil rights and other social movements for equality, I was really thinking to myself then, like, well, had I been old enough then, I would have stood up and done the right thing. And now I am. And in spite of like the great progress that the LGBTQ+ community has made so far, there's still a lot of progress and there's still a lot of work to be done. And I still see inequality. So I believe it's a personal responsibility to, stand up and advocate and help others who may not have the same voice as others in other communities. From my experience at Intercom and just in my personal life, I think one of the most powerful ways that I've seen other allies advocate for others is really just in their everyday actions. Being an ally is a choice. It is about choosing to visibly and vocally stand up for the rights of others and to just call out bias and unacceptable behavior. So using your voice, it can really affect change. And as you mentioned previously, like some people don't necessarily know how to be an ally, or they think they're an ally, but it just goes far beyond expressing passive support. It really is a long-term commitment to advocate for others. I've been an ally in and outside of work for many years, and it really has been a journey of learning and growth. And it's honestly taught me so much, not only about others, but also about myself too. And honestly, most of all, I've been amazed at like the impact allyship can give on a personal level and also on a collective level to the community.
In Intercom, we have an employee resource group called Interproud, which organises workshops, discussions and events to educate and celebrate our LGBTQI+ community. And as a member of that community, I can tell you they do really valuable work that just makes you feel like you can be yourself here. And I'm not the only one who loves that.
I mentioned that I was gay on my interview, so straight away they were really excited and told me, oh, we have a group, Interproud, you're going to enjoy, blah, blah, blah. And when I started working my first week, I just joined Interproud and I saw all the events and made me be really engaged with the company from the start. So it was a really good experience. I had the same feeling as you. I was like, oh, that's really cool. Everybody's like me and I enjoyed that.
You know, this is the first company I've worked for where I've been able to be truly myself and not feel judged. At a lot of other companies before Intercom, I felt that maybe some of the qualities that come with my gayness, my queerness, were maybe detractors, and people didn't take me seriously because of that. And so, you know, I would feel like I was left out on opportunities for growth at other companies. And Intercom from day one has said, this is what we love about you. And so let's use that. And this has, you know, I've been able to succeed and grow going on almost 4 years here at the company because I have been able to be completely who I am. And I've felt valued every step of the way.
My thanks to Shauna, Ryan, Jennifer, Castro and Jessica. That's it for today. But from everyone at Intercom, happy Pride.